More on a special report from ABC News.
Israel's gearing up for a possible ground invasion of the Gaza Strip.
We have called up reserves. The reserves are from ground units, infantry, armor, artillery, combat engineers, combat intelligence.
Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus telling ABC News, without offering any specifics, that recovering hostages across the Gaza border would be a top priority.
So far, my understanding is that our objective will be to, as I said, dismantle Hamas's military capabilities.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin at NATO for a meeting on Ukraine today doubled down the U.S. support for Israel.
Make no mistake, the United States will remain able to project power and to direct resources to tackle crises in multiple theaters.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
And an update on two teens shot in Ogden late last night in the 600 block of Cross Street. Turns out the two had sustained gunshot wounds. And officers began first aid. Those injuries turned out to be non-life-threatening. This is happening about 11:40 late last night. The males ages 14 and 16. Utah County Sheriff's deputy shot and killed a man about 11:15 this morning after officers got a call saying he had shot himself in the leg. Investigators say this happened near Fairfield. When the officers got on the scene, the man allegedly brandished a firearm at them.
When deputies arrived on scene, the man brandished a firearm, and in return, the two deputies fired their weapons, hitting the man.
Sergeant Dudson says deputies administered CPR, but the man died on the scene. Coming up, I'm seeing blowing snow. No surprise, Little Cottonwood Canyon and along Parley's Canyon, the route of I-80. We will get your traffic and weather together. Updated next. KSL News Time 8:02.
Can an insurance bot ever really understand your needs?
Do you think I'd benefit from bundling my auto and home coverage?
Searching for homes with car dealerships nearby.
Sure, robots listen, but do they understand you? At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we'll help you save money and time by bundling your auto and home insurance. Find an agent at fbfs.com/protect. It's your future. Let's protect it. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
Do you hope to retire in the next 5 years? Given the challenges with our economy, it won't be easy. Learn how you could overcome these challenges at a free educational event featuring retirement expert Tom Hegna. Tom Hegna has written 5 books on retirement planning, and he's been featured in Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, and Yahoo Finance. Tom will share his 7 specific steps that can make your money go a lot further in retirement. It happens on Thursday, October 12th at 6:30 p.m. in Salt Lake. And it's hosted by Boss Retirement Solutions, a 5-time winner of Utah's Best of State Award. Reserve your free ticket now by calling 801-435-8840. That's 801-435-8840. 801-435-8840. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow, and it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KSL has your tickets for Taylor. We're filling a megaplex theater full of Swifties, and we want you there. Listen for the keyword weekdays at 8:45, 11:45, and 3:45. Then text it to 57500 for your chance to win. Want a reminder? Text the word Taylor to 57500 and we'll alert you when the contest is about to start. Details and more chances to win at KSLNewsRadio.com.
Hi, Tim Hughes. Please give today to Primary Children's Hospital because miracles are happening today. The KSL Give-a-thon has begun. Donate at kslkids.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. So you have a crash. This is a jackknifed big rig truck on I-80, the transition to the westbound 215's northbound. So I believe they have a left lane blocked. It's not slow over there, but we do have delays in Parley's Canyon on I-80 due to falling snow. It's blowing snow as well in Little and Big Cottonwood Canyons. Watch that commute tonight. Cypress Credit Union has the ease and expertise for all your business needs. Ask Cypress about payroll and HR resources, payment processing systems, lending needs, and more. Visit cypresscu.com. And Valley weather, rain does continue for us here in the Valley. We'll be down to 42 tonight, only up to 54 tomorrow. 62, and starting to clear for Friday through the weekend. By Sunday, will be 70. Right now, we are 44 degrees in the rain at 8:06 at KSL News Radio. 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com. Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
KSL at night. Some of Utah's top political specialists join a roundtable on the day's biggest stories. KSL is at 102.7 FM and on every smart speaker when you say play KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to KSL at Night. We are live here talking. We just got through talking about an election that's taking place down in Highland to fill a state Senate seat. This is Derek Brown. I'm here with my good friend and co-host Taylor Morgan, and both of us just made a quick drive from Highland.
A very quick drive.
Very quick drive. You didn't get caught clearly.
I did not.
In your quickness, but we were having a live feed there, and the school had relatively no signal whatsoever, and so apparently public ed Wi-Fi is not great, which is actually not a bad thing,
yeah,
right?
So parents, rest assured that your kids' school has a firewall on its internet that is impenetrable, okay?
Even KSL's high technicians couldn't figure it out.
That's exactly right. So rest assured your kids are safe on the internet at their schools. We apologize for rushing back to Salt Lake, but we are live now here in the studio at KSL News Radio.
We're here, so we're going to talk about that election going on. But first, we've got to hit something that happened earlier today at the Capitol. It was a rally for Israel, and from what we've heard, it was very moving, a very touching and emotional experience. And we have with us Amy Kobe, who is KSL News reporter, who was there at the event and is going to give us a little sense of what it is that happened. So, Amy, thank you for joining us on KSL at Night.
Good to be here. Glad you drove safely very quickly.
Well, it was a rainy,
In the rain, too.
rainy drive, but we made it quickly. So, Amy, tell us a little bit about what happened. This was about 5 o'clock today at the Capitol, right?
Yes, it was at the Utah State Capitol on the steps there, and it was about, I would say, 300 people that gathered, including dozens of Utah's elected leaders, including the governor, the lieutenant governor. The governor spoke. He really said that he was moved by the images. He was shocked, basically, by the things he was seeing from social media, the things we've all seen of the violence in the last few days, and remembered a trip that he took pretty recently to Israel and was just thinking about those people there that he worked with. And he spoke and said that, there is evil in the world. We have to acknowledge it. We have to say that, and we have to try to defeat it. And it was him along with other Utah leaders and rabbis from around the valley, members of the Utah Jewish community, who spoke in support of Israel and really made it really was kind of hard. It's hard to explain because it was so broad. There were prayers, there was scripture read both in English and in Hebrew. I didn't understand a word of the Hebrew, but everyone there at the end of the prayers said amen. Something that members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, people here in Utah are very familiar with. Jew Christian, any religion, everyone was united in those kinds of moments there.
And what's interesting, Amy, is that show of support, although it's just here in Utah and we are, thousands of miles away, it actually does make an impact. I have been corresponding with some people earlier today and yesterday who are either in or have relatives in Israel, and they said that the show of support and solidarity from America has a huge impact mentally, morally, and in every other way. And so I appreciate that. And what are your takeaways from this event today? I mean, give us kind of the how did people respond who were there? And I know it's really hard to take this kind of an experience that people had and sort of convey it over radio, but give it a shot.
Well, I started out, there were a couple people there kind of at the beginning, early on, talking to a family, a father, his son, his daughter, and it quickly, the father, as soon as I asked, why are you here, he started crying and said, I've been crying for 3 days straight and I can't stop. And that was the mood there at the beginning. It was somber. It was hurt. There, a lot in this community felt this attack on Israel, the continued violence in the area as personal. And as it continued and you heard these prayers, you heard singing, and, it was cold and rainy. And so slowly people started getting closer and closer to each other, kind of huddling together in the cold. You started to lose that sense of sadness, and you started to feel like there really was some solidarity, even in this, little Utah community of, a couple hundred people. It felt strong.
Yeah.
And you started to feel like, okay, this is sad. This is hard. This moment of silence, though, gives us a little bit of peace to know that we're not alone in this.
Yeah, Amy, certainly very moving, inspirational. I imagine, I wish I could have been there myself to experience that, but I'm hearing so much positivity and experiences of those who were there. We know that Utah has so many special ties to Israel. Some shared religious and faith traditions. Many Utahns may have done a semester at the Brigham Young University Jerusalem Center. As you mentioned, Amy, at the top, a large delegation of Utah elected officials, including the governor and many others, just visited Israel a few months ago.
And can I add, Taylor, you mentioned
Eric,
the BYU
yeah.
Jerusalem Center.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually heard from friends of mine who have kids that are there. There are 90 kids over at the BYU Jerusalem Center right now.
Yeah. And we know they are safe. They
are safe, and BYU is very well aware of what's going on. But
yeah, but there are so many ties between not just the United States, but Utah as a state and its people with Israel in that region. We know today that 22 Americans, at least 22 Americans, have been killed by the attack that Hamas launched. At least 17 more Americans are still missing. We have seen this play out also here at home in Utah over the weekend when some Jewish synagogues were threatened over the weekend. Was that mentioned at all, Amy? Did that come up at the Capitol tonight?
There was a mention by the governor. He got passionate at the end. He spoke for about 10 minutes, and at the end he said, violence will not be tolerated. We support protests, we support, voicing your opinion, but we will not support or allow violence. And there was a lot of clapping and, cheers of support for that comment. But at the same time, it was really one of those things that they obviously were trying to focus on the good. And that I can't remember who it was. Another person also commented and said that they acknowledged those threats that were made against local synagogues and just it was just a no, we don't accept that kind of comment. And so and of course when you're speaking to a group of people that are there showing you your solidarity, there was a lot of vocal support for that. And so it seems like, they know that they have that friendship here in Utah among elected leaders, both on the left and the right, that showed up in mass.
That's exactly the last point I wanted to make, Amy. We're speaking with Amy Kobabe of KSL News Radio about the what do you call this? A rally, a vigil, a rally in support of solidarity with Israel across the political aisle in Utah and even nationally. We have seen solidarity, and we have seen the unequivocal condemnation of Hamas and unequivocal support for Israel across party lines. It is so refreshing, can I say, in a time when politically we are divided. This is refreshing. Yeah, Amy.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
Amy Kobabe, thank you for joining us on KSL at Night, and thanks for your report and for being there at that rally. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Taylor. Thanks, Derek.
I'll say, okay, stick with us. After the break, we're going to have an update from a member of the House of Representatives, Representative Brady Brammer, who is at the replacement election, and he'll tell us what the latest is. Stay with us.
Hi, it's Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
Why should you start your day with us?
We have decades of news experience between us.
And we take your trust seriously.
Come here for news tomorrow, 5 to 9.
On KSL. For kids like Bryson, Afu, Liz, and Noah, healing has a home.
It's not like home, but it just felt like a home.
Hear their stories during this year's Giveathon.
I'm beyond grateful for Primary Children's.
I didn't feel scared or anything because I knew that they'd take care of me.
It's one of a kind.
Join us and be inspired.
I'm very happy.
They saved my kid, and that's something I can never repay.
The Giveathon for Primary Children's Hospital.
Thursday, October 19th on KSL News Radio.
This season, your coffee orders are getting warmer, and your outfits are getting cozier. The world keeps changing, and so does COVID-19. That's why this season's COVID-19 shots have been updated. They're one of the best ways to help protect yourself against COVID-19. You can get a COVID-19 shot at the same visit as a flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Talk to your healthcare provider to learn more and schedule at vaccines.gov. And don't forget to get extra cinnamon spice. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Everybody knows that your credit history can have a huge impact on your life, Amanda, especially when you're just starting out as an adult.
That's why Utah Community Credit Union, UCCU's new Credit Builder Loan is such a great idea. It's a way to build or to rebuild your credit.
All right, so let's talk about how it works. With Credit Builder, UCCU will open an account in your name and then provide that account with a fixed amount of funds along with a small automatic monthly payment. And as your automatic payments are made over time, of course, your credit builds, proving you're a responsible borrower and raising your credit score.
And that credit score is just so important because it determines the interest rates you'll get, higher credit limits, better loan terms because of your credit score.
And by the way, if you have kids in high school, open a Credit Builder loan in their name, and that way they're going to graduate from high school with a good credit score of their own.
It's called the Credit Builder Loan from Utah Community Credit Union, UCCU.
Just call or text UCCU or stop by any branch and start building your credit today.
UCCU, you're going to love where you bank.
Oh, ouch! Oh, my back is killing me.
Is this you when you get in and out of your truck bed as you work from your truck or van? Reaching up for tools, equipment, materials, ladders, and heavier items? There is a better way, a safer way. And Jordan Camper at 7000 South State in Midvale has the solutions, such as drop-down ladder racks that lower ladders to the side of your vehicle for safe and easy loading and unloading to prevent back injuries and keep your business efficient. Instead of climbing up or on your knees to get stuff out of your truck bed, we feature slide-out truck beds that come to you. At Jordan Camper, we carry lots of step-up bars, easier to get into higher vehicles, and rear door steps for vans. Family-owned and operated for 5 generations, Jordan Camper is Utah's longest-operated truck, top, and accessory shop. We have a great showroom. Come into 7000 South State in Midvale and check us out. JordanCamper.com.
Guys, your testosterone level can impact your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Book your testosterone level check at Revive Men's Health, Salt Lake City. They're the local experts with guaranteed treatments for low T and ED. There are no lab fees. All your tests are included. And many patients find Revive more affordable than their insurance deductibles and copays. Book your testosterone level check today. Call 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Transform your outdated kitchen with half-price granite for $2,500. Granite, quartz, cabinets, and flooring. Visit halfpricegranite.com. Affordable luxury.
KSL at night.
Welcome back to KSL at Night. This is your host, Derek Brown, here with my good friend and co-host for the evening, Taylor Morgan, and we are live.
We are live here in KSL News Radio Studios, downtown Salt Lake City. Derek, we were both out at the Senate 22 replacement election in Highland, Utah. A lot of fun, a lot of good treats.
A lot of churros,
delicious
specifically.
Churros.
I don't know who was passing those out, but someone had amazing fresh-cooked churros.
I will text Robert Axon and make sure we find out because those were incredibly delicious. I have a little bit of FOMO, Derek, that we're not there. We fortunately have a lot of our friends and colleagues and contacts texting us, calling into the show to
giving
provide
us the updates.
real-time updates. And we have one of those good friends of the show right now, current Utah Representative Brady Brammer.
So, Representative Brammer, welcome to KSL at Night.
It's great to join you.
Representative, really quickly, is your wife's name Nikki? Is that correct, Nikki Brammer?
Correct.
She is a saint, and bless her soul, she did so much to try to help us tonight with our IT issues out at Mountain Ridge Junior High School. Please tell her thank you from Taylor and Derek and KSL News Radio. She was amazing, and you're a lucky man.
I am. She is.
And she is a saint because she puts up with you. So, on that note,
exactly.
So you're there at this event now, and just for those of you who are just tuning in, this is probably the most impactful political thing going on involving Utah right now. It's a Senate. It's an election to fill a vacant state Senate seat. And so, Representative, give us a sense of what you're seeing there and what's going on.
Well, it's been a really interesting process to watch. There's 13 candidates. They represent a really big tent within the Republican Party, very diverse set of candidates with a lot of diverse ideas. And it's been really heartening to see the civic engagement on it. They're polite to one another. They are working well, towards each of them are trying to be the senator, but they're working well with one another. And the engagement with everyone has been really remarkable. I just think, we're so used to a national political scene driving everything. At the local level, it's just a breath of fresh air after watching the national scene.
And when I was there, the best phrase I can think of is organized chaos. First of all, I had a hard time getting a parking spot to begin with. And you go in and it's, crawling with people, but you've got all these candidates and people are surrounding them and they're talking with them and peppering them with questions, which is how it's supposed to work. And now you've been through this, you've run as a candidate, and so you've seen this process before. And give me your sense on, I think the thing I find most interesting, and Taylor, you may have heard this as well, it's really hard to handicap who's going to come out. I mean, I talked to a lot of people and said, so what do you think is going to happen tonight? And most people said, I have no idea. And so, Representative Brammer, give us a sense of what's your opinion? Why is that? Usually you kind of have an idea, going into an election. It seems like nobody has any idea what may happen tonight.
I think the key word is plurality. Now, what I mean by that is with so many candidates, there's not going to be a single candidate out of the gates that really knocks everyone out. At least I don't see that happening. And so it's going to be a a round by round process. And I just think that it'll be a fascinating political scene. And, I think that as the candidates work things and work on who's their second choice and third choice, and they work with these delegates to see who their first choice, second choice, third choice is, and we'll start to get deeper and deeper into people's decision-making process, it's going to be just a fascinating study in political science.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Such a great process. And listen, I have to just a moment put on my Count My Vote hat as executive director of Count My Vote and my history there. Certainly some think that I dislike the caucus convention path, and I certainly have my criticisms of it. But really, ultimately, Derek, my main criticism is that not enough people are involved in it, that we need to get more Utahns there. Because, listen, I hate to admit this, and I'm probably going to ask our producer to delete this after, but
we're live, so
I had a
too late.
great time tonight. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of energy there, and it was just, it made politics something that is typically just negative, not personal. It made it positive and fun and interactive, and I had a great time, Derek.
Well, and what's interesting now is that it is where the rubber meets the road because of what you just said. So we have with us, those of you just tuning in, we have live Representative Brady Brammer who's on with us. And Representative, have you been able to hear any of the speeches? My understanding is each candidate has 4 minutes to make their pitch.
Correct. So I've heard about half the speeches. I've had to come in and out for different things. But number one, any public speaking teacher would be proud of these candidates. They have done a great job. And I study rhetoric. I'm an attorney. I do courtroom stuff. And these are great candidates, and they were well prepared. They had great talking points, and they're relevant talking points. They're not just spewing. A lot of times what can happen is you get onto some national level talking points. These are state-specific talking points, and they're specific to this area and the concerns of this area. And you can tell that these candidates have worked their guts out talking to the delegates to see what their stories are, what their concerns are, and what is hurting them or helping them or what they're concerned about. And they're just doing a great job addressing those. And you can see that interactive process working really well.
Yeah, we're speaking with Representative Brady Brammer, who is coming to us live from the Senate 22 vacancy election in Highland, Utah. Representative, whoever wins this election tonight, and hopefully it is done tonight, whoever wins is going to be your colleague. They will be in the Senate, and this will be someone that you will really need to work with to serve your constituents in the greater area. What are you looking for? As a lawmaker who, with a lot of experience, you've fought tough battles, you need an ally in the Senate to get things done. What are you looking for in terms of just a few key attributes of what makes an effective state senator?
So I think number one is the ability to collaborate. And that includes not being stuck on a single issue. If you're stuck on a single issue, then you're willing to burn the whole world down in order to win that issue. But being in the House of Representatives or in the Senate, it's basically a period of 1,000 votes. And in order to be effective, and we need this, I'm in a neighboring district. I really need this senator to be effective because we work together to bring different resources to different areas. And that Senate district is such a key district in our state because it is absorbing the largest percentage of growth in the state. It's that Eagle Mountain, it's that Saratoga Springs area. And well, it's more Saratoga Springs and Lehigh. I think Eagle Mountain is part of Thatcher's district. But they need to be very effective at working with others, at building coalitions. And, there's obviously the occasional partisan things. But more than anything, an effective senator knows how to work with others and accomplish hard things and address hard things in a way that they listen and incorporate what they learn from others.
Well, and one of the things I found when I was in the House of Representatives is people who are used to throwing bombs and burning things down and throwing out inflammatory tweets, all of a sudden get to a body where there's 75 members like the House of Representatives, and they need 38 votes to pass something, and they don't realize this is a group sport. You need 38 votes, and it doesn't matter how angry your tweet was. If you don't get 38 votes of your colleagues, you're not getting anything done.
Exactly. It's a game of arithmetic at its core. You need 38 from the House, you need 15 from the Senate, and you need a governor. Otherwise, you're not going to get much done.
Exactly. All right. Well, my only recommendation is someone smart there. Instead of passing out, say, vegetables, zucchinis, and carrots, they passed out churros. So whoever that is, find out who it is and go get a churro because they were really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So this has been Representative Brady Brammer. Thank you for being there and giving us an update on the Senate replacement election. We appreciate your time.
And we just have a brand new
thanks
update. Derek, thank you, Representative. Derek, brand new update. We are on the very last speech in the Senate 22 election down in Highland. We will be coming right back with continuing coverage of the special election to replace Senator Andrew Egg in District 22. Stay with us.
It is 8:30 at KSL News Radio by Mark Jackson, KSL's top story.
Brewing Utah weather. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
Heads up if you are already planning for work tomorrow. You might want to leave a little early. It's expected to be a rainy rush hour.
Probably a wet morning commute, but as for the evening commute, looks like by that point we're starting to be drying out.
National Weather Service meteorologist John Wilson says rain we saw today will start to diminish and should be gone by mid-morning tomorrow. There will be some cloud cover this weekend over central Utah with potential to obstruct parts of the annular eclipse. But meteorologist with the National Weather Service, Nicole Desmond, says the clouds shouldn't be too bad.
South of about Nephi, we're seeing a partly cloudy to mostly clear forecast for skies Saturday morning.
The eclipse is set to pass over the state on Saturday, starting about 9 in the morning and ending around noon. Our top national stories. Israel gears up for a possible ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Kenrickis of the Israel Defense Forces tells ABC News that the issue of recovering the hostages dragged across the Gaza border remains a top priority.
So far, my understanding is that our objective will be to, as I said, dismantle Hamas's military capabilities. And at this stage, I have no further information about what's being done.
About 5 days into the fighting, 1,200 Israelis have died, most of them civilian. Coming up, hard snowfall out there tonight in Parleys and in the Cottonwoods. We'll detail traffic and weather together next. KSL News Time 8:31.
Summer's long gone. Is it time to think about replacing your old furnace and air conditioner? Would a $1,200 instant discount on a new day and night home comfort system help?
Don't put it off. Have a new day and night furnace and air conditioner installed and get an up to $1,200 instant discount with a 12-year day and night no-hassle warranty on qualifying systems. You'll be warm all winter and save on your energy bills. Click online to dayandnightcomfort.com for a nearby elite day and night home comfort expert. The difference is day and night.
Martin's Collision Repair.
50,000 cars repaired and counting. Just check Martin's 5-star online reviews.
Lee posted, Martin's Collision did an excellent job. The car looked perfect when the work was completed. I will always work with Martin's.
Hi, I'm Tiago Martins. Check Martin's Facebook page or martinscollision.com for your 5-star Martin's experience. On State Street in Norham and in Salem, we work with all insurance companies.
The right repair, the right paint, the right choice. Martin's Collision Repair.
Here's something you've never heard before.
Stop. This is Simply Safe.
Introducing 24/7 Lifeguard Protection, only from Simply Safe Home Security. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. Advanced Home Security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
At EasyCater, we get it. Ordering food for work means you have to deal with this.
Client meeting on Tuesday.
Client wants Taco Tuesday.
19 people.
Need vegan options.
Our budget just got slashed. Meeting is now Monday.
What about Mediterranean?
Client
still wants taco.
Claire has a nut allergy. Gluten-free. Under budget.
Vegetarian,
vegan,
Tacos for a client meeting? Just use EasyCater. Food for work delivered on time as ordered with a huge variety. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
This is Jeff Stout with Fink & McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. It's no secret that mortgage rates have risen from historic lows over the last few years. In some cases, having a low mortgage rate can also act as so-called golden handcuffs when homeowners don't want to refinance and lose their rate. One solution to this is a home equity line of credit, or HELOC. HELOCs have higher rate than first mortgages, but they offer flexibility as they are a credit line that can be tapped into as needed. This is a way to take care of financial matters such as debt consolidation, home improvements, medical or college bills, or whatever without losing your current mortgage rate. And when rates come back down, you can refi and take out the HELOC. Call us if this is something you'd like to explore. Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple, 801-264-9494. That's 264-9494. Or on the web at finkmcgregor.com. NMLS 289115.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Amanda Dixon. The KSL Give-a-thon has started. My own family has been healed by the care and the love at Primary Children's Hospital. Take time today to give at kslkids.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's new Dividend Plus checking account. So we do have some trouble on I-15. I don't see any big delays southbound around Woods Cross, 2100 south, but don't see any major delays with that in Davis County in the Valley, down in Utah County. I do see it very heavy, not extremely heavy, but pretty heavy, much more than normal for 836 at night between Kimball Junction and about Mountain Dell and Parley's Canyon. That due in part to is snowing very hard, and it's also getting snow in both the Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons tonight. So careful on the drive. Beatty Days is almost here. October 27th through 30th in Beatty, Nevada. See Old West Shootouts, Chili Cook-Off, live music, art, classic car shows, and more. Visit BeattyNevada.org. Rain continues through about mid-morning tomorrow. At the moment, we do have rain. We got 42 downtown at 836. KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com. Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
KSL at night.
Welcome back to a special live edition of KSL at Night. This is your host, Taylor Morgan, joined in studio by my co-host, Derek Brown. Derek, tonight we are covering the special election, replacement election. I'm not sure what you all, as Republican Party state chairs, call this thing. I know you have a fancy name for it, I'm sure. However, it's an election, and delegates are voting, about 150 total state delegates in Senate District 22. 13 candidates, Derek. It's been a long night so far. They're only just barely wrapping up the speeches.
Well, and with 13 of them speaking for 4 minutes each. I mean, the way this works is they'll eliminate one or two. It depends on what the voting looks like after this first round. But it could go to a second, third, fourth, fifth round. So it could go all night. But, you know, it's something to emphasize here is that whoever wins tonight will, in fact, be a member of the Utah State Senate.
They will, and they will be the senator for the upcoming 2024 general session, as well as interim meetings leading up to the session. Look, you and I both know that a lot of the hard work, a lot of the big deals and negotiations for the legislative session happen right now, happen in the preceding few months. It is a key time to be a state senator. And Derek, we wanted here at KSL at Night to cover this election because we want our listeners, we want Utah voters to understand this is a big deal, because whoever wins tonight is the incumbent state senator going into 2024, and then they are set up for a potential pretty straightforward reelection, and it's a 4-year seat as a state senator. Mm-hmm. And this decision is being made by a group of 150 state delegates. And
what's interesting, by the way, is that it's being made by these delegates, and then it's not going to a general election. So that's the thing to emphasize.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like, okay, you now have a general election, you run against a Democrat. Whoever wins tonight will, in fact, be a member of the Utah State Senate in the next couple of days when they're sworn in.
That's exactly right. And I just received an update here via text here that Speeches are officially done, and they have begun the first round of voting, Derek. As soon as we have results on that vote, listeners, we will get those results to you immediately as soon as we have them. The voting process can take a minute. We wanted Derek to bring on here to KSL at Night to talk with someone who has run at convention as a candidate, both trying to win over and woo delegates at convention and also reaching out to a broader set of all Republican Party voters in a primary election. Want to talk to Erin Ryder, Republican. She currently has the Utah Women Lead PAC. She's run in the past as a Republican candidate for Congress, seen as kind of one of the bright up-and-comer Republican candidates potentially for the future. I really want to know, Erin, welcome to the show. What is it like to run as a candidate? What are the pros and cons of a primary versus a convention?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Taylor and Derek. It's great to be here with you both. So, looking at the difference between primary and convention, with a convention, you're working specifically with the delegates. And so you're talking to delegates all day long, and you're trying to convince the delegates that you are the right candidate to represent that particular seat for whatever race you're running. In the primary, once you go through the convention, depending on how the convention votes end up, you may have one, may have two candidates that come out of convention. And then the primary voters will vote on whoever comes out of the convention. And not necessarily in this case, but in other races, candidates who gathered signatures may also end up on the primary ballot as well. So you're just talking to different kinds of voters, delegates for convention, and then the general Republican set of voters for the primary.
And so, Erin, tell us what that was like, because I've also gone through the process, and it's a little bit unnerving, only because there's no hiding, right? I mean, like I always get the sense that a lot of the candidates from the bigger races can hide behind their money. You know what I'm saying? You can just hire someone to send out a flurry of emails, texts, mailers, that sort of thing. But with this process you're talking about, and I went through it as well, there's no hiding. You're right there face to face with one of these delegates, and they're asking you about everything from regulation to immigration to transgender sports. I mean,
I
it's
don't
like
know, Derek. Hold on. I have
limits.
to say, you can hide behind some churros, right? That's always an option.
And those were good.
And those were delicious.
And hopefully, Erin, you did get some churros there, because I don't know who's passing. Was it Wade Irely? Is that who they said was passing them out?
Yeah, Wade Irely had the churros.
And hence, I heard he had a very large round of applause following his speech. And it could be not to take anything away from Wade. I'm sure he's fantastic. It could be the churros.
It could be the churros. Let's after a long day, those are good. But anyway, so Erin, give us your sense about what that's like.
Yeah, so, delegates are great in a lot of ways. One thing that I think people don't realize about delegates is they're very knowledgeable, and they're very passionate about politics. And so, like, even tonight, as I'm walking around talking to candidates, you see delegates who had lists of questions that they were asking each candidate. And usually delegates have done their research. They spend a lot of time looking up candidates, looking up information. They're pretty well versed on issues. And so they are not afraid to put a candidate in a corner and say, I want to know how you feel about this issue. And they can, it's hard for a candidate to kind of work their way out of a question like that, because delegates don't really give them space to just sort of give a politician answer, right? They want a real answer. And delegates are great in a lot of ways, and they're usually pretty proactive too. Like, I had a number of delegates who would just call me during my race. And they would go online and they would find my number that was listed, and they would just call me and they would ask me a bunch of questions. And I loved that, because they were being proactive. They were out there. They were trying to research information, because they are also representing their precinct, right? They're representing the people who voted for them at caucus to go and to vet candidates at convention. So they're trying to do their part as well for the people who appointed them to go out and do this research.
Erin, my primary criticism of Utah's caucus convention process is that, in my opinion, too few Republican voters participate. it's difficult to go to attend. You have to be there in person, and it does really tend to cater toward those who are political enthusiasts who have a lot more time to spend on it. And we just have maybe about 30 or 40 seconds left, Aaron. What do you think this Republican Party here in Utah could do to get more Republican voters to participate in that process?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I definitely think that more people should get involved in the caucus system. I don't think people realize how much it impacts Utah politics. I think the party could make caucus night more accessible, frankly, a little better advertised. A lot of people don't know what precinct they're in. They don't know how to contact their precinct chair. Just, lines of communication and helping people get there. Sometimes people have a hard time getting there because of childcare or work or other types of issues. There's a lot that could be done to just make caucus, frankly, more accessible and better advertised. And I think, those two things alone would probably help quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Aaron Ryder, really appreciate you joining KSL at night. Please continue. Keep the text messages coming. Keep us updated on what's going on. Derek, hopefully we will have some voting results here very soon. Listeners, stay with us. We will get you the latest information, the latest voting results from the Senate 22 election coming up next.
Tomorrow morning, come back here for news, traffic updates, and reliable weather.
Join us to have a listen. Tim and Amanda,
your morning companions for news.
KSL has your tickets for Taylor. We're filling a megaplex theater full of Swifties, and we want you there. Listen for the keyword weekdays at 8:45, 11:45, and 3:45. Then text it to 57500 for your chance to win. Want a reminder? Text the word Taylor to 57500, and we'll alert you when the contest is about to start. Details and more chances to win at KSLNewsRadio.com.
Do you hope to retire in the next 5 years? Given the challenges with our economy, it won't be easy. Learn how you could overcome these challenges at a free educational event featuring retirement expert Tom Hegna. Tom Hegna has written 5 books on retirement planning, and he's been featured in Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, and Yahoo Finance. Tom will share his 7 specific steps that can make your money go a lot further in retirement. It happens on Thursday, October 12th at 6:30 p.m. in Salt Lake. And it's hosted by Boss Retirement Solutions, a 5-time winner of Utah's Best of State Award. Reserve your free ticket now by calling 801-435-8840. That's 801-435-8840. 801-435-8840. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
Does your company offer health insurance to your employees? If so, how do you know if you're getting the best deal on employee benefits? Did you know that a benefit broker makes more money when you spend more? Brokers are not only incentivized to steer you to more expensive insurance plans, but the more quotes they get, the harder they have to work and the less money they make. My name is Keith with Magellan and Linden. We're a different kind of benefits broker that offers a best plan, best price guarantee. We get insurance quotes from every insurance company every year. It forces insurance companies to compete for your business and offer the best deal possible. Here's what you do. Visit shopmyplan.com. We'll get you free quotes with no strings attached. If you like what you see, let's work together, and you'll get the best plan at the best price. If your benefits broker isn't getting quotes from every insurance company every year, you're probably paying too much. So visit shopmyplan.com today to get the best deal on employee health insurance. Go to shopmyplan.com today.
Go to KSLkids.com and donate to the KSL Give-a-thon. We need your help raising money for sick Utah kids receiving treatment at Primary Children's Hospital.
Be a Smile Maker. An automatic gift each month helps save the lives of children all year long. Sponsored by J&J Garden Center in Layton.
A big thanks to other generous sponsors, including Big Canyon Homes and Sugar House Industries, for their amazing support of the kids at Primary Children's.
With the KSL Give-a-thon, we can't do it without you. Please give.
Don't miss the Super Saturday, October 14th sale at Dave's Bernina in Provo and St. George. All machines on sale. 72 months, no interest, and free gifts with purchase offers. Big savings on used machines.
Is shopping for medical supplies online leaving you feeling intimidated and overwhelmed? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I want to share a real customer story with you.
The moment I walked into Alpine, I felt cared for.
They pulled me into a private room, and the Alpine professional happily set up my CPAP machine, explaining everything I needed to know. The service didn't stop there. After I went home, Alpine called me a week later just to check on me. These guys really are the experts. Before Alpine, I was so stressed trying to navigate what I needed online by myself, but all the stress went away when I went to their store. They really do deserve 5 stars.
We know when you walk through our doors, you deserve to be cared for. Stop by any of our 11 locations and discover the Alpine Home Medical difference. When you need assistance, we're here for you.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
AlpineHomeMedical.com.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
You know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
Yeah, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, anything, you need to tell an adult, someone you know and trust. That can be hard, but speaking up about a problem is what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
People think saving money is hard, but really, it's easy. It's as simple as changing a few spending habits. For free tips on how to save the easy way, check out feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
KSL at night.
All right, welcome back to KSL at Night. This is Derek Brown, your host, and here with my good friend Taylor Morgan, and we are live. And we've talked about a lot of things tonight, but we're covering probably the most impactful political event going on right now that most of you probably haven't heard of.
Yeah. And many of our Utah legislators, I don't know the exact percentage, Derek, but I'm going to say it's like maybe 25% plus of our Republican Utah legislators first get into that position through this kind of a vacancy, a delegate vote. They get in, they become the legislator. They're then the incumbent if they have a primary challenge at all. And that sets off a political career as a legislator. And it can all start with something just like what's happening in Highland, Utah tonight, the Senate 22 election to fill Jake Andereg's seat.
And this is one of the sort of quirks in Utah law that people aren't aware of. But if someone is serving in the state house or Senate and they resign and their term ends, then the state or county delegates in that area get together, they have an election. And for instance, tonight, Jake Andereg, who's been serving in the state Senate for the last, I think 8 years, plus he's been in the House of Representatives for, I think, another 4 years, he resigned.
Yeah.
So we have 120 delegates who then get together and they choose the next individual. And the party of that person who resigned is the party that gets to choose the replacement.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting, and one of these quirks, as I mentioned in Utah law, is that person doesn't then go to a general election to actually take their spot.
That's right.
They immediately become the elected official. And so whoever wins tonight within the next couple of days will be sworn in as a state senator.
That is a big responsibility that they take on literally overnight. And it's a lot of work, Derek. Mm-hmm. I know you've been in the Utah House. You've been a legislator. I've had family and close friends that have and are in the legislature. It is, even though it's technically part-time and it's a civilian legislature, it is a lot of hours. It is a lot of work. It is a huge commitment. And so here's the question that I want to get into just a little bit, Derek. And I'm not necessarily setting up a debate between us, but just a discussion here. We saw with the congressional vacancy with Chris Stewart, it's different in Utah law. In Utah law, a congressional vacancy requires a special election, an election that goes to all party voters and then goes to a general election. We, our listeners, may have forgotten, and certainly I have sometimes forgotten, we're still in the middle of that election. That election is still coming up on November 21st. It has not yet been decided. There are some pros and cons of that process. However, here we have a contrast. What, in your opinion, as a former state Republican Party chair, sell me, what are the benefits of doing it with delegates to fill the vacancy rather than a full-blown vote of the people?
Well, and my impression, and you actually mentioned this earlier, I like the process we have when a lot of people participate.
Yeah.
And so when I was the chairman of the Utah Republican Party, one of my pet peeves was when you'd have a process like this and very few people were involved. I loved the process where there's a lot involved. So we had on the show her earlier tonight, the chairman of the Republican Party, the current chair, and he made the comment that the next caucus, which is going to be the same day as Super Tuesday, will be where the Republicans pick their candidate for president. And he's doing that. I don't know if he said this in so many words, but the impression I got in our interview was that he's doing this to drive more people to be involved. And so I've always felt like I like the process, provided that you have a lot of people that are there. I mean, and you can have an individual precinct, and I've seen the precinct with 100 people in my precinct there, and I've seen years when there were like 5 or 6.
Yeah, similar.
And that's a problem. That's a problem. And I don't like that. In fact, I don't like the result. I don't like the process when you have only 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, I live in Senate District 22, Derek. I'm a precinct vice chair there, not to title drop, but kind of a big deal.
It's a big deal.
And both of our precinct state delegates, they were there tonight doing their duty, doing their job, and they're both wonderful people. But here's the thing, Derek. They were both elected at our last precinct caucus meeting, which, Derek, out of about 600 registered Republicans, only 12 people showed up.
Oh, you're kidding.
So not to take anything away from those wonderful state delegates in the fight in Draper 27, the best precinct in the entire Utah Republican Party, but they were only sent there by a very, very few people. That is clearly an issue. That's a breakdown. If this process is going to work, and frankly, if it's going to last, more people have to get involved in it.
Exactly. And I like that process. Now, what's interesting about tonight is, as I mentioned, it's sort of this organized chaos when you walk in the room. And what I like, and some people may not like this, but I like the fact that you had 13 candidates all vying for the same position, all surrounded with delegates. And Erin Ryder, who was just on, made this comment. She said, you can't really hide. And these delegates they want answers. They want to know where you stand. And so I saw 13 candidates who were surrounded by people peppering them with questions.
Yeah.
And I've actually been in that bullpen of sorts where people are peppering you with questions, and you can't just kind of give a standard pat answer. You got to give where are you on, immigration, regulations, growth in Utah, that kind of thing. There's no weaseling out of it.
I saw a lot of that tonight, Derek. We know this is an open seat. There are 13 candidates. It was hotly contested. I saw something play out, frankly, tonight, Derek, in Highland, Utah, at this election that I think encouraged me. It was positive. I enjoyed it. Just a couple quick updates for our listeners. One of the downsides of this process is it takes some time. These ballots are, done by hand. They're tabulated and reviewed and confirmed by hand. It takes some time. Here we are with a couple minutes left in the show, and they are still tabulating the results of the first round. We know that during the tabulation, Senate President Stuart Adams got up and spoke. Jake Anderegg, who is resigning the Senate seat, also spoke. We literally expect the first round results to come in any second, Derek. We may not have them by the time we wrap this show, but we will certainly keep our listeners posted, and we will have on the winner of this election on KSL at night as soon as possible.
Exactly. And so this is, like I said, kind of the biggest political event that you probably haven't heard of. And so for those of you, kind of wondering what's taking place right now, that's the answer. You've got a replacement Senate district, and we don't have time now to have Senator Jake Anderegg, but he had his last his last meetings today. He chaired, I saw up in the Capitol, was the last meeting that he's chaired after 12 years. And he's going back into the private sector. And you know what? I like that about our system.
I love that change. I love the citizen legislature. Hat is off to Senator Anderegg, whether you like or dislike his legislation or what he's done. Thank Senator Anderegg for his service, for putting in the time and the effort, and now we'll have a new, fresh voice.
And I love that. I love that people are willing to come in. And you know what's interesting is the average member of the House of Representatives in Utah serves roughly 6 years. So it's very interesting. They do generally get in.
Who needs term limits when there's that much turnover, Derek?
Well, yeah, and part of it is because it's an exhausting process.
It is.
So anyway, it's been a lot of fun here at the Studio House, broadcasting live. This is Derek Brown here with my good friend Taylor Morgan, and we hope to have an answer as to who will be a new Utah State Senator, and we'll know by some point tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great night.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
It is coming up on 9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Mark Jack.